Saipan, saɪpæn, is the largest island of the Northern Mariana Islands, a commonwealth of the United States in the western Pacific Ocean. According to the 2010 United States Census, Saipan's population was 48,220. The Commonwealth's center of government is located in the village of Capitol Hill on the island. As the entire island is organized as a single municipality, most publications term Saipan as the Commonwealth's capital. The current mayor of Saipan is David M. Abasaa, who was sworn into office on June 12, 2015. Geography. Saipan is the second largest island in the Mariana Islands archipelago, after Guam. It is located about 120 miles north of Guam and 5 nautical miles northeast of Tinian, from which it is separated by the Saipan Channel. Saipan is about 12 miles long and 5.6 miles wide, with a land area of 115.38 square kilometers. The western side of the island is lined with sandy beaches in an offshore coral reef which creates a large lagoon. The eastern shore is composed primarily of rugged rocky cliffs and a reef. The highest elevation on Saipan is a limestone-covered mountain called Mount Tapachor at 1,560 feet. Unlike many of the mountains in the Mariana Islands, it is not an extinct volcano, but is a limestone formation. To the north of Mount Tapachor towards Banzai Cliff is a ridge of hills. Mount Attribution, situated about 2 miles north, has been interpreted to be a remnant of a stratified composite volcanic cone whose Eocene center was not far north of the present peak. Flora and fauna. Saipan's flora is predominantly limestone forest. Some developed areas on the island are covered with Lucana leucocephala, also known as tangan trees that were introduced sometime after World War II. Remaining native forest occurs in small isolated fragments on steep slopes at low elevations and highland conservation areas of the island. Coconuts, papayas, and Thai hot peppers, locally called dunsali or buni peppers, are among the fruits that grow wild. Mango, taro root, and bananas are a few of the many foods cultivated by local families and farmers. Saipan is home to a number of endemic bird species. Among them, the Mariana fruit dove, white-throated ground dove, bridled white-eye, golden white-eye, Micronesian myzomele, and the endangered nightingale red warbler. The island used to have a large population of giant African land snails, introduced either deliberately as a food source, or accidentally by shipping, which became an agricultural pest. In the last few decades, its numbers have been substantially controlled by an introduced flatworm, Platydemus manaqueri. Unfortunately, possibly due to the flatworm, the native tree snails also became extinct. Climate. Saipan has been cited by the Guinness Book of World Records as having the least fluctuating temperatures in the world. History. Prehistory. Traces of human settlements on Saipan have been found by archaeologists ranging over 4,000 years, including ancient latte stones and other artifacts pointing to cultural affinities with Melanesia and with similar stone monuments in Micronesia and Palau. Spanish colonial period. Saipan, together with Tinian, was possibly firstly sighted by Europeans by the Spanish expedition of Ferdinand Magellan, when it made a landfall in the southern Marianas on 6 March 1521. Again, it is likely it was sighted by Gonzalo Gómez de Espinosa in 1522 on board of Spanish ship Trinidad. That in an attempt to reach Panama he commanded after the death of Ferdinand Magellan. This would have happened after the sighting of the Maug Islands in between the end of August and end of September. Gonzalo de Vigo deserted in the Maugs from Gómez de Espinosa's Trinidad and in the next 4 years, living with the Chamorros, visited 13 main islands in the Marianas and possibly Saipan among them. The first clear evidence of Europeans arriving to Saipan was by the Manila galleon Santa Margarita commanded by Juan Martinez de Gillistigui. that wrecked in the island on February 1600 and whose survivors stayed in it for 2 years till 250 were rescued by the Santo Tomas and the Jesus Maria. The Spanish formally occupied the island in 1668, with the missionary expedition of Diego Luis de San Vitores, who named it San Jose. From 1670, it became a port of call for Spanish and occasional English, Dutch and French ships as a supply station for food and water. The native population shrank dramatically due to European-introduced diseases and conflicts over land, and the survivors were forcibly relocated to Guam in 1720 for better control and assimilation. Under Spanish rule, the island was developed into ranches for raising cattle and pigs, which were used to provision Spanish galleons on their way to Mexico. Around 1815, many Carolinians from Satawal settled Saipan during a period when the Chamorros were imprisoned on Guam, which resulted in a significant loss of land and rights for the Chamorro natives. German colonial period. After the Spanish-American War of 1898, Saipan was occupied by the United States. However, it was then sold by Spain to the German Empire in 1899. The island was administered by Germany as part of German New Guinea, but during the German period, there was no attempt to develop or settle the island, which remained under the control of its Spanish and Mestizo landowners. Japanese colonial period. In 1914, during World War I, the island was captured by the Empire of Japan. The empire was awarded formal control of the island in 1918 by the League of Nations as a part of its mandated territory of Nanyo. Militarily and economically, Saipan was one of the most important islands in Nanyo and became the center of subsequent Japanese settlement. Immigration began in the 1920s by ethnic Japanese, Koreans, Taiwanese and Okinawans, who developed large-scale sugar plantations. The Nanyo Koatsukabushi Kikaisha built sugar refineries, and under Japanese rule, extensive infrastructure development occurred, including the construction of port facilities, waterworks, power stations, paved roads and schools, along with entertainment facilities and Shinto shrines. By October 1943, Saipan had a civilian population of 29,348 Japanese settlers and 3,926 Chamorro and Caroline Islanders. The Imperial Japanese Army and Imperial Japanese Navy garrisoned Saipan heavily from the late 1930s, building numerous coastal artillery batteries, shore defenses, underground fortifications and an airstrip. In mid-1944, nearly 30,000 troops were based on the island. The Battle of Saipan from the 15th of June to the 9th of July 1944 was one of the major campaigns of World War II. The United States Marines and United States Army landed on the beaches of the southwestern side of the island, and spent more than 3 weeks in heavy fighting to secure the island from the Japanese. The battle cost the Americans 3,426 killed and 10,364 wounded, whereas of the estimated 30,000 Japanese defenders, only 921 were taken prisoner. Weapons and the tactics of close-quarter fighting also resulted in high civilian casualties. Some 20,000 Japanese civilians perished during the battle, including over 1,000 who committed suicide by jumping from Suicide Cliff and Banzai Cliff rather than be taken prisoner. Seabees of the U.S. Navy also landed to participate in construction projects. With the capture of Saipan, the American military was now only 1,300 miles away from the Japanese home islands, which placed most Japanese cities within striking distance of United States' B-29 Superfortress bombers. The loss of Saipan was a heavy blow to both the military and civilian administration of Japanese Prime Minister Hideki Tojo, who was forced to resign. This history is also interpreted on Saipan at American Memorial Park and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands Museum of History and Culture. After the war, nearly all of the surviving Japanese settlers were repatriated to Japan. Post-war Saipan. After the end of World War II, Saipan became part of the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands, administered by the United States. The island continued to be dominated by the United States military. Since 1978, the island has been a municipality of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. The military presence began to be replaced by tourism in the 1990s, but still plays an important role in the local economy. Music. Music on Saipan can generally be broken down into three categories: local, mainland American, and Asian. Local consists of Chamorro, Carolinian, Micronesian, Hawaiian reggae and Palauan music, often with traditional dance for many occasions. Mainland American consists of many of the same varieties that can be found on U.S. radio, and Asian consists of Japanese, Korean, Thai and Philippine music, among others. There are 7 radio stations on Saipan, which play mainly popular and classic English-language songs, as well as local and Philippine music. Television. Local television stations on Saipan are the following: KPPILP, the ABC affiliate, which is owned by Sorensen Media Group; KSPN2, which is owned by the Flame Tree Network; The Visitors Channel 3, which is owned by the Flame Tree Network; WSZE-TV10, the NBC affiliate, which is owned by Pacific Telestations. Transportation. Travel to and from the island is available from several airlines via Saipan International Airport. A ferry once operated between Saipan and Tinian but was halted in 2010, reportedly for maintenance, but in fact it was never reinstated. Taxis are available within Saipan only. One of the island's 2 main thoroughfares, Beach Road, is located on the western coast of Saipan. At some parts of the road, the beach is only a few feet away. Flame trees and pine trees line the street. The street also connects more than 6 villages that lie on the western coast of the island. Middle Road is the island's largest road and runs through its central section. Like Beach Road, Middle Road connects several villages throughout the island. Several offices, shops, hotels, and residences lie on or nearby these highways. Middle Road is labeled Chalin Pale Arnold on maps, but very few people call it that. As there are no street numbers in Saipan, directions are usually given using landmarks, or you Ghost Straight, and Ghost Straight, and Ghost Straight. It is laughable in good humor for this fun-loving island people. Economy. Tourism has long been a vital source of the island's revenue, although the industry has undergone a serious decline since the financial crisis of the mid to late 1990s. Some major airlines have since ceased regular service to the island. Some internationally known businesses which located to Saipan are struggling, and some have left. In years past, the main economic driving force in Saipan was garment manufacturing, driven largely by foreign contract workers. The USA agreed that the CNMI would be exempted from certain federal laws, including some concerning labor and immigration. One result was an increase in hotels and tourism. However, dozens of garment factories also opened. Clothing manufacture became the island's chief economic force, employing thousands of foreign contract laborers while labeling their goods made in the USA, and supplying the U.S. market with low-cost garments exempt from U.S. tariffs. The working conditions and treatment experienced by employees in these factories were the subject of controversy and criticism. As of March 2007, 19 companies manufactured garments on Saipan. In addition to many foreign-owned and run companies, many well-known U.S. brands also operated garment factories in Saipan for much of the last 3 decades. Brands included Gap, Levi Strauss, Phillips Van Heusen, Abercrombie & Fitch, L'Oreal subsidiary Ralph Lauren, Lord & Taylor, Tommy Hilfiger, and Walmart. Currently, there are no garment manufacturers on the island, with the last one having closed on January 15, 2009. On November 28, 2009, the federal government took control of immigration to the Northern Mariana Islands. Villages and towns. The island of Saipan has a total of 30 official villages. However, there are many sub-areas and neighborhoods located in certain villages such as Afetnas in San Antonio and Tapachor and Iden in Capitol Hill. Those marked SV are the sub-villages: Achugao, Aslito, Asmatuis, Perdido, Teo, Turlaj, Capitol Hill SV, Iden, Tapachor, and Wireless Ridge, Chalancana SV, Lalai 2, 3, and Ovi, Chalankia, Chalanlalau SV, Quartermaster, Chalanpiao, Chinatown, Dandan SV, Airport Road, Naftan, and Obian, Fenasisu, Garapan, Gualo Rey, Cagman SV, I-2 and 3, Canit Tabla, Cobblerville SV, Asgono, Lower Base, Marpi, Navy Hill SV, Chalangalade and Rapagao, Olii, Papago, Sabdog Tazi SV, Asmahetog, San Antonio SV, Afetnas, San Roque, San Vicente SV, Lau Lau Beach, Susup, Tanapag,